Welcome to Misfit Toys Comedy Studio. We have our wonderful, beautiful, talented guest, Miss Amy Cologne, some snaps, some jazz hands.
Hi.
Our wonderful co-host, Miss Maria de la Ghetto, is having Mercury in retrograde situations. Oh, wait. Oh, she's coming in.
Here we go.
Hey,
girl.
I made it. Hey, girl. Hey, how y'all doing, boo?
How we doing?
How are you? How are you?
Oh my goodness, I am good. I can't complain. I made it. I made it.
Amen. You made it.
We have all been struggling. I ain't gonna lie. I stayed in bed last day. I literally was just kind of curled up into the fetal position, just eating Xanax like Skittles. That was my breakfast. Like
Yeah.
I just had I had Xanax and worry for breakfast. That was me.
Yes.
What
Yes.
about you, the talented Miss Amy? You are beaming in from the East Coast, correct?
Yes. Here from Elizabeth, New Jersey.
Oh, wow.
So, what was it like for you? What was your breakfast and BITCH? Bizarre, ironic, terrifying, crazy, and hard. What was your breakfast and bitch?
Well, my breakfast today was a piece of toast because my stomach is in knots. Can we curse?
Oh, yes.
We can for the moment. Let's think of a creative word.
Okay. No, just in case, because sometimes they slip. So
It happens. But,
sometimes they slip. So
right at the time where we can say it was fracking hard. It was some deep dark fudge. Yeah.
It was. So I had a piece of toast because my stomach was in some, a dark place. I'm stressed. So what is it? Bizarre?
Ironic, terrifying, crazy, or hard?
Okay. So what was bizarre, ironic, terrible, or terrific, or terrible, crazy, hard? Any of those is the situation of the election right now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's fudging bizarre right now, and just how nothing is said. I am a worry wart. I can't concentrate. I was the same way yesterday. I stayed to myself. I couldn't even really function. I was able to shower, but that's pretty much it. It was from my bed to the couch to my remote to shower to back to the couch because I couldn't function. So it was bad. It's bad. It's bad. I'm stressed.
What about you, Miss MDG? What's going on?
Everyone is going through it right now. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like that is like the last, it's definitely there, but it's something that's kind of now out of our control. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
And I don't know about the rest of you, but I grew up in the hood, and I feel like we've dealt with stuff worse. And white supremacy and all the privilege is nothing new, and we will continue to fight against it, and we will continue to push it back. And I feel like it's been worse. There's been worse things in history, and I think it'll be, and it's gonna be fine. It might get crazy, but again, this whole year, really, I'm like, ugh. People saying, "Oh, the world's gonna burn." I was like, I've been watching it burn all year. I'm a little, I'm waiting for some change here. I'm just like,
Definitely. That's what I'm thinking about. That's what really is in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even just the outcome, and it's not even so much the white supremacy and the racism, because racism lives hard, and I've seen it, I've experienced it, but it's the future. It's what's gonna scare me. It's the future.
So I want to give a big shout out to Ray Turner. He's one of our favorite super fans. Mad respect. Thank you for tuning in. We've got Miss Castanette Asher. Girl. She is okay. My favorite. We got to give her mad respect. This is for Cassidy. This is her joke. She's like, let's be honest and talk about what's real. Let's be honest. That's my favorite Cassidy joke of all time. Let's be honest. Ooh, how stressed are we in this? Let's be honest. Do you have faith that we're gonna do the right thing?
I don't know about all that.
Is it how? What do you think? Is America going to turn into civil war? Do we think that this is actually are these mail-in votes get counted? Is this going to drag on? What do you honestly think is going to happen, Amy?
I think that if democracy is actually, if it actually exists as it's supposed to, I feel that the process will be done right. I hope that they are counting everything. I hope that everything is done correctly. There's no cheating involved.
Is your mic okay? Are you rubbing up on something?
Oh, maybe.
There we go.
Better.
You got to make a choice. You got to talk or you got to touch. You can't touch and talk at the same time.
My bad. So no, I was just saying that I think that if we have democracy, I think it's gonna, I think everything's gonna be counted right. I hope that nothing, there's no discrepancies, there's no, people tampering and others getting involved that shouldn't be getting involved. If, I'm trying to believe in democracy. I feel like if it doesn't go the way that, it should go, okay, then I feel that then we have lost democracy in this country, and that it really is a clear divide, and it's just, no bueno.
Word.
Do you believe? I think we had democracy in the 60s and 70s, but as corporations gained power and started to populate our Congress with their own puppets and lobbyists, it really feels like we've lost a lot of what democracy was about, because it's now run by money. Who has the biggest pockets to run the ads, to run how do we get back to voices for the people versus voices for the dollars?
Yeah.
Just going to pop in and say, I'm an extremist, and I think all of it is a farce. I don't think democracy has ever been this whole country has been built on the backs of immigrants and
of course
and the indigenous people. And I think the system, when people say, the biggest thing that comes in my head is they say the system is broken. I'm like, no, boo boo, the system has been working perfectly for who it's supposed to be working for.
Absolutely.
So I personally think it's probably already, either if there's any kind of tamper, here's the thing. It's two sides of the same coin. It's like a lesser evil. Joe Biden, Trump, one is just explicitly racist. The other one's implicitly. If I'm being real, and I don't have faith in any of this government stuff. I think there's people that are trying to make it so that it's not as one-sided anymore, so that it's not as bad, because of the newer generations. It's little by little starting to, I think if anything down the line we'll have an actual democracy run by people, where people of color's voices are heard and they listen to the people. But now
I feel like if certain individuals are leading, I don't even want to manifest and put their name into the air, because it's that minuscule to me. Yeah. But if certain individuals are taken out of there, I feel like we can, maybe be on that path you're talking about. A lot, we elected a lot of different, there was a first trans in a certain county, I believe, state, Oklahoma or something like that. Mm-hmm. There's women of color. I just feel like we are slowly getting there.
Yes. Slowly for sure.
There. I don't think that this presidency for the next 4 years will completely change it. Right. But I think that if it's the other way, it's gonna completely continue to make it fall back and keep going further back instead of progressing forward.
I agree 100% for sure. You said it way better than I did. I'm just a hating ass bitch, and I'm just like, they all suck. I was trying to be diplomatic, but it was just coming out like they're all racist.
Right.
But what you said was what I was trying to say.
We got some women of color up in there. They're trying.
Yes, for sure.
And what's good about them? They're sold. bold, they're so brazen, they're so like in your face, and
Yeah.
you know, they really, quite frankly, don't care who they offend as long as they're helping the community they're serving. And
Yes.
you know, I appreciate that. I appreciate that as a
Hell
female.
yeah.
I appreciate that as a woman of color. I appreciate that. I mean, I am very pale, but don't get it twisted. I'm 100% Latina, Boricua, Cubana, and I speak the language. Like I am all about my culture. Like I'm about my culture. I'm about my people. My grandparent, his grandfather, you know, they're all Taino from the island. So I'm very much my culture. And I love the fact that women who represent my culture are doing it.
What I hear?
Yes.
Excuse, could you tell me what Boricua means? Because I don't understand what is a Boricua.
Boricua means yummy. I think that's what it means, right?
Boricua means yummy. Boricua. So Boricua,
like, what is it really? What is what is a Boricua?
So Boricua is a Puerto Rican. Boricua comes from the word Borinquen, which was the Taino word for saying the island of Borinquen. So Boricua, people have said that you're Boricua, which means you're Puerto Rican. So from the island of Puerto Rico.
So if you're Cuban, you're not Boricua.
No, you're Cubano.
Cubano. So
even though my Cuban people are kind of pissing me off right now, okay? Cubanos, you know who I'm talking about. But you know what?
Is this specifically an isolated incident? Like I've been seeing the memes, but I don't know if it's a specific thing. I saw the Selena and the
yeah, a lot of Cubans are very much you know, on that Republican vote, and they think socialism, and you know, they also come from a dictatorship, and they have their own mentality, and they're very stubborn people. I mean, my mother, I'm half Cuban, so I know how they are. They're very stubborn people. So right now I'm a little mad at them, but that it is what it is.
Right.
Is there a difference between island Spanish and like Mexicans?
Absolutely, I think so.
What is the difference?
Yeah, for sure.
Because
it's a different culture. It's a different country.
I need to get my Cletus hat. I'll be right back in 1 second.
I don't know if we should give Cletus a voice today. I think he's had a voice for the last 400 or 500 years.
I'm going to get my Cletus hat. Could you break it down for us? The difference between these Boricuas, Cubanas, and Mexicanas. Isn't it all the same flavor? I'm confused. Ladies, please explain while I get my Cletus hat.
Okay. It's not the same flavor. I mean, I'm sure, Maria, you could attest, like it's not it's a different country.
Absolutely.
It was taken over, and like you said, the colonizers of the Spaniards in the different countries came, and you know, they kind of forced their language upon these different lands. All different countries or different cultures. I mean, yeah, we all speak Spanish, but Mexicans are totally different than Puerto Ricans. Like, it's a totally different country. It's a different flag, a different country.
Everything.
We have different foods. We have, we might have
different like indigenous roots. Like, granted, you know,
roots, like
maybe in the tree of life down the way. Yeah, sure.
Right?
We split off.
We might say hola to each other, but I mean, come on, it's a difference between orale and huepa. Like,
absolutely. Oh my goodness.
Okay, wait a minute. So I just thought everything, you know, south of Texas was just Mexican.
Well, that's that ignorant, no.
So what?
You need to get a map.
Okay.
A map, Cletus. Get you a map.
Between a Puerto Rican and a Mexican, culturally speaking.
Everything. The only thing we have in common, technically, is that we were raped by the same people.
That's it.
That's
pretty much it.
If we're gonna, I'm just putting it bluntly. We were raped by the same people, and that was it.
We have different cultures, different. The Mexicanos, they have the Dia de los Muertos. I asked my Puerto Rican family about it, and they're like, "What?" Like, we have bomba music. It's just totally different culture. It's just different. Like, but you know what? That's that ignorance. Like, yeah, everybody, from I guess who speaks Hispanic, anyone who's Hispanic and speaks Spanish is just, we're all Mexican. So yeah, according to these, the smart peoples of the countries of the USA.
Little thing. This is, oh God, do you see this? I used to be a cute gay boy in West Hollywood. I look like a homeless Jesus. I live in
that's that quarantine look right there.
You know what? We need more of homeless Jesus anyway than that superficial WeHo gay, because I'm it's time we
Just
We
be
need to get,
ourselves.
you know what I'm saying?
Just
Like,
be genuine. Like, yo, why do I
thank
gotta try to look
you.
cute? Like, why do I gotta go out of my way? Like, yo, just be me.
Like you cute right now, like that.
Hmm.
You're cute
So
if
check
you
this
feel
out.
cute.
I moved to Spain, and I am Ukrainian.
Okay.
And in Europe, Mexico is Romania.
Say what now?
All of the jobs and the stereotypical things that Mexicans do are Romanian.
Oh, so they're like the working
The
class.
nannies, the leaf blower, gardener,
Okay.
all the typical jobs that a Mexican or Latin American person does in America.
Mm-hmm.
We call them Mexicans.
Mm-hmm.
They're called Romanians.
Interesting.
And so I remember the first time I went to my boyfriend at the time, I went to his house, and he was like, Psh, don't tell my parents you're Ukrainian. Tell them you're from Hollywood. And I was like, why? He's like, I don't want them to confuse you for the workers that pick all the vegetables in the fields.
Ooh.
Wow.
Oh
And
my God.
everywhere I went, they didn't call me Ukrainian. They called me La Rumana, the Romanian. They couldn't tell the difference. And everywhere it was like, oh, just don't tell anybody you're the, oh my God. And I was like, this is what it must feel like to be like, I'm a European Mexican. I am being, it was all of the same things, not all the same, but I, for the first time, felt that, wait, you're embarrassed that I might be Ukrainian and your family owns a farm, and you're worried that they're gonna think I should have dropped his ass at that moment. Like I should have bitch. But that was the first time where I was like, I'm not Romanian, I'm Ukrainian. And they're like, Romanian.
What's the difference?
Yeah, they were just like Romanian. And for the first time I was like, oh, this is what I was, it hit me. When I lived abroad, I was like, oh, this is what it's, I'm just lumped into that Romanian world.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt that you were judged or lumped into this cultural stereotype? If so, when and how? When were you treated by your stereotype of, oh, she's before they even had a chance to get to know you? When was your moment of like, I'm not Mexican, I'm from Puerto Rico. Why are you leaving your kids with me? I'm on drugs right now. You know that I just took a couple tabs of acid. Why on earth are you giving me your children? Like, I don't understand. When have you bumped up with that stereotype in your life?
I mean, I gotta be honest with you. Like, I was like bullied a lot because I am 100% Hispanic, but I do not look Hispanic. I mean, I have very fair skin. I have green eyes. You know, I have now blonde hair, which even makes me more look further away from my culture for some ignorant people, because my island has people of all different shades, all different hair colors, all different looks, but the ignorant people who do not educate themselves, they assume that I'm just the white culture and there's no way I'm Hispanic because I don't look Hispanic. Mm-hmm. I said, but what does looking Hispanic mean? Like, that's so ignorant. But you got to educate. Sometimes you got to educate these people. But I mean, to be honest, like, I've never really been mistaken. You know what I'm saying? Because I was able to have that passing face. You know, I was able to blend in. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I do have family members who do get called, like, you know, they have the stereotypical things said to them. I mean, like, as a Puerto Rican, like, they always think that we're down to fight, or we have a knife, or we have a, you know, a blade, you know, hidden somewhere because we're just going to either rob you, or, you know, that's that stereotypical Puerto Rican, you know, that we're just a bunch of criminals. That has been told to me, you know, like that. Yeah. But I mean, I've never really truly been treated differently or been mistaken, because I just pass. I pass. Mm-hmm.
Wait, you know? So you're telling me that you don't have a knife and you never been to jail, Miss Amy Cologne?
Nope, I ain't never been to no jail. I don't got a knife, but if you want me to, I'll let you know about yourself. No, I don't have.
So, can we touch on that though? The passing, like,
yes, let's touch on that.
Let's talk about that big. Passing privilege. You know what I'm saying?
Like, that privilege, and I get, you know, people, like, they hate on me for that, and I swear, and I sympathize for them. Like, I can, like, I do have that passing privilege. I don't get, you know, I don't get pulled over. I don't get stopped or asked, why are you here? Like my other relatives who might be a little bit more tan than me and might have different textured hair than me and might have different eye color than me. Yeah, they get harassed more. I don't. So I got to be honest. The only time I get like harassed and I don't get the privilege is when they'll read off my license plate and it says my last name and I said where I'm from, because my area, is more urban. So, then I can see where they assume that, oh, we got a drug dealer from Elizabeth, they must be doing something wrong, they must be black, they must be this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? They gotta be, Mexican or whatever ignorance things that they want to say. But I gotta be honest, let's talk about that privilege, because that,
Do you feel guilt? Do you feel like survivor's guilt, passing guilt? Do you ever feel like, oh, or do people in your culture be like, shh, you don't know the struggle. Look at you, Miss Passing White. Psst, stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mira la hora que está quejándose porque, oh, mira que blanca está. Tú no entiendes nada de los problemas de nosotros.
Yeah, I do. Sometimes I do feel guilty, and sometimes I feel like I can't, like I have no, I don't have a leg to stand on to sit here and have these conversations, because I don't have those same struggles, but I do, because I get it. I sympathize. I empathize. I'm there with you, because I have been discriminated against because of my language. Like if I'm speaking my language, I have been told speak English, know, and I always clap back with, well, there is really no set language in this country. There's no set language written nowhere. Like the minute you want to show me a language written somewhere in a constitution and declaration, somewhere where it says a language, then come at me. But until then, unless you're speaking of the, I think there's over 100 or maybe even more. I might
of the indigenous languages here.
Unless you speak in their language, don't come at me, bitch. Like
Thank
you don't know
you.
me, and you don't know nothing. You're ignorant. Educate yourself, sweetheart. Like, so yeah, I do feel the guilt sometimes. I do, and it sucks. It sucks, and I don't have those same struggles, and I have used my privilege. I have.
So I have a question. Have you ever do you use your privilege to advance your people? Just like have you ever been like, oh, sir, he's with me? You know what I mean? Like use that against, turning it around. Like, do you find yourself, just how you would use that, I guess, for the advantages of like your people kind of thing. Like, do you ever find yourself in that position, or is it kind of, I don't know the daily struggles or daily life. I don't want to just say struggles.
Yeah.
So today's message, it's kind of in that same vein.
Yeah.
How do you maximize passing? Like Freddie Mercury, no one really realized he was Indian, he was gay, he was but he used it to his advantage to get to it,
Right.
How do you use your passing for your benefit, or have you?
I gotta be honest, I have. Like, I have used it. I have been able to get into like certain, even like some stores in, Fifth Avenue, Manhattan that normally judge people. They have not
really.
They don't even bat an eye when I walk in. Like I have, I've used it to get my, to have my family, I'm like, all right, I'll be the one to go, like, even for like a nicer restaurant, I'll be the one to make the reservations. Like, I'll be the one to go in there, or I'll be the one to interview us for a party we want to have. Like, they'll send me because they look at me and they assume, oh, okay, it's a nice, white family, and they're going to have a grand old time. But, and then all of a sudden the DJ sets up and we're playing Suavemente, and we're, have the empanadas and a coquita, going crazy. And then, that coquito, everybody loves that. But, and then they're like, oh, damn, we got. But it's like, well, that's on you.
Yeah, honestly.
That's
good for you. That's what I want to hear. Like, good, get them all.
Sharon, sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. I'm Hispanic. Ha, I tricked you.
Oh, my God.
So you are Hispanic, Puerto Rican, New Jersey, New York.
Yeah.
And you are a lesbian.
Yeah.
Who also does stand-up comedy.
Yes.
How'd that come about?
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
When you put it like that, it's like, yeah, wait, hold on.
I feel like when you're all those things, it's only natural that you become a comedian. Because where else are you gonna be able to get? Where are you gonna get the platform to
Like,
talk shit and get away with it?
What was the tipping point? What was the tipping point where it was like, oh, I can't even do it? What was the tipping point where you were like, you know what? Comedy is going to be the solution. What was your comedy tipping point where you were like, you know what? I got all of this inside of me, pressures from all over. When was that tipping point for you to be like, you know what, I'm getting on stage, give me a microphone, this is happening? What was your comedic tipping point?
I think my comedic tipping point is I'm a teacher. You know, I moonlight as a teacher during the day, and I I teach in my community. I serve the kids who, you know, my city, Elizabeth. So I see my kids, I see myself in them, right? And I see that a lot of our teachers didn't care about us, and a lot of them were more of the white race, and they could care less about us, and they didn't go above and beyond. We only had a few that went above and beyond for us, because for them we were just, you know, it was like herding cattle. It was just, you know, little ghetto kids, and let's just make sure we
push them through,
and because we just still getting I'm still getting my check, you know. So that's why I had to teach in my community. I couldn't teach anywhere else. Yeah, I could have went to a suburban area, probably got paid more. The kids are like robots; they do what they want. My kids are a little bit more challenging. You know, they might come in with a past, with baggage, but those are my babies, and I fight for those kids. And I feel like my tipping point for comedy was, I'm sitting here telling them to follow their dreams, and I'm sitting here telling them that no matter where you come from, you can make it. And meanwhile, I'm not doing what I need to be doing, and I wasn't doing like my dreams and my, you know, with the comedy. And I always made them laugh, and they're like, "Yo, miss, you got to do this for real. Like, you talking to us, but you got to get on stage. You make us laugh, you can make anybody laugh, and then you can represent us." So I said, you know what? I'm doing it for them. Like, that's why I got to make it. I got to make it for my kids, because I tell people all the time, I don't care how big I get, which I will, and I don't care. I'm going to live in Elizabeth, and I'm doing it for my community, and I'm always going to give back to them, because those are my kids, and they'll forever be my babies. So that was my tipping point. My tipping point was
give us one of your favorite classroom jokes.
Oh man.
Just give me one or two of your favorite classroom jokes.
I don't need, to be honest, I don't know. I mean
I'm gonna plant that seed.
I gotta think about
Maria,
that.
What is one of your favorite children, PG-13, like, to your kids that you, because I know you're taking care of your family's children. What are one of your favorite kid jokes? I'm gonna jump in. I've been teaching comedy. We've been running the Misfit toys. I've been teaching my niece, and she's 9 years old, 8.5. No, she's 9 years old. And so we were learning about metaphor simile jokes. What is it? Compare and contrast. And her joke was, living in quarantine with my parents is like skinning an elephant. And I was like, honey, have you ever skinned an elephant? She goes, no. I just imagine it's incredibly messy and very difficult.
Oh my God.
And I was just cracking up. So that was her favorite joke that we wrote together that I thought was super cute. Yeah. Do you have any like childlike or, you know, to that audience of a younger crowd, what's your favorite younger crowd joke or thing that you know, to that audience?
Here's the thing with my niece and nephew. We're savage, so it's all clapbacks, and I wish I could remember this one thing. Oh man.
Right?
I was clowning on my niece, because like, look, I'm not your like nice, like, I'm your auntie, and I will love you to death, and I will always take care of you. I will feed you when you're hungry, clothe you when you need it. But you want me to be emotionally sensitive to you too, like that too? That's asking for too much. You're asking for too much. Like, I'm a Scorpio ass bitch. Like, you can't be having all that. Like, can I just love you to death? I'll beat somebody's ass for you, but you want me to be like emotionally sensitive? Like, I was raised by a boomer. I can only do so much. You know what I'm saying? But they learn. And so like I said something to my niece, and she clacked back so quick, and I was like, I was so proud. I was like, I'm gonna teach these kids, man, because my niece and nephew, they're mixed. They're ethnically ambiguous. Their mama's half black, half Filipino. Their daddy's half Mexican and half Polish.
Okay.
Like, you have these little light-skinned, afro-headed kids, and I'm like, I don't know what to do for you, boo-boo. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you may pass, you may not. Someone's gonna talk some shit. You come talk to me if someone's talking shit. Then we'll, you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Right.
Until then, I'm gonna teach you how to clap back. Like, don't let nobody make you feel a fool, you know?
Yeah.
So Amy, what's one of your favorite clapbacks or your, you know, classroom moments?
I think my favorite classroom moments, to be honest, is when I like the same thing. I go back and forth with these kids because I teach seniors. They're all 18, 19, some of them are 20. Some of them until 21.
That's a tough class to teach.
It's a tough class. And let me tell you something. And these are inner city kids. And where I teach, you know, it's the kids who might, I call them colorful. They're a little challenging. They're a little creative, for lack of better words. Like a lot of these kids might have gone to an alternative program or a military school and maybe didn't hack it there. So, you know, every kid's child has to have a public education. So they come to me, and these are my kids. And, you know, I respect them and they know that. So I think my favorite classroom moments with them and the joking is just going back and forth with them. Like really going back and forth. Like some of them come at me and they might have not brushed their teeth. So I'm going to gas you. Like, I'm going to let you know about yourself. Like, you know, like I had the kids draw, we had to do anatomy, right? So they're drawing, I gave them different body systems to draw. And I gave this one group the male reproductive system. I actually gave them the book to copy. I said, listen, you don't even have to think. Just copy this, please. Just copy it the way you have it. Just copy it the way I'm giving it to you, because the principal's going to come around. We got to put this on the wall. I can't be looking crazy. Please don't do anything crazy. That's what I said to them. 20 minutes later, miss, I'm done, right? They show me their poster. These kids drew a boy, a man, I don't know what, with, you know, their member being almost down to their knees. Okay. Mind you, this whole group, they're all like this skinny. They're all about something. I said, in whose dream is that? In whose dream
I know,
is that
like,
a reality?
I know you lying.
I said to him, I said, who in the hell? I said, I know you lying. Like, so I made him do it again. I mean, I still have the poster. I have it here. Like I had to keep it because I couldn't. I just and I do that on stage. I tell these, and I show them the poster because I couldn't believe that they drew that. I'm like, yo, what warped reality in your mind? You think that that's what you look like? I'm like, your thing is this big. You just started learning how to use it. Like, get out of my face with that. Like, these kids are crazy.
Oh my God.
You know, they're crazy. I swear they're so like, you know, they're adults. You know, in their little mind, they're adults. So.
Oh man.
I remember when I went to school in DC, and I worked, didn't work, but I volunteered for Martha's Table, which is an inner city school project. And I remember, okay, everybody, we need to do a sentence with a verb, an adjective, and a noun. And we're doing these sentences, and I'm showing them how to write. I would get sentences back from the kids. The man got raped on the way to the store.
Oh my goodness.
My mom was, and I was like, these kids are like 6 and 7. I was like, what on earth is the... And I just couldn't, like, and this was their reality. And I just couldn't, I was like, and then I remember, I was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? A secretary. I was like, a what? A car salesman. A what? Like, no one wanted to be the doctor.
Yeah.
And I had to do a timeout. And I was like, in that moment, I stopped and I was like, okay, we are going to the Smithsonian. I'm taking you on campus with me to Georgetown, and I'm going to show you people that look like you doing things that you never thought were imaginable. I just had to stop, and I was like, we're going to learn. We stopped English. I just would take them on field trips and introduce them to people who were doing things that they never even thought were possible. And I had to revamp, just like, I couldn't believe it. I was just in shock. Like, I was just in shock. And I remember when my little sister came, she was 10 years old, and she went, hung out with neighbors, come back. She got nails like this with flamingos on them and the thing. I was like, oh no. And then she's like, Igor, look, I learned how to do the groundhog. And then she started humping the ground with this thing and the thing. I was like, oh my Lord, my mom is going to kill me. My mom is going to kill me. But when she got back, any boy that tried to step to her, she was just like, bam. She was so tough. Like, it is like, it was one of the best experiences. Because now she stands up to herself and she's really like, she owns her sexuality, her thing. Boys try to come up to her in the club and she's just like, seriously.
Right.
Do you own a mirror? Are we going to break this down in front of all your friends? You're going to walk away with just a little bit of pride left. Because I can't believe we're going to do this. And it's like, she's just vicious. Like, I'm like, damn.
Good for her.
If there was one thing, we're gonna switch back to Cletus for a second. If you could tell men a couple things that you just wish they would understand, what would you love to tell men? And I think you're a lesbian, right?
Yes, I am.
Right, which means 2 girls and 1 of me.
Yeah.
Does that work? Like, I remember when I went to parties at my friend Iggy's house and there were lesbians, and I automatically, 2 of them plus 1 of me equals Saturday. Is that
no? No, it's definitely not 100%. Like
I
I don't
find
want
that
nothing
hard
to
to
do.
believe.
I want
You
nothing
wouldn't.
to do with that. I want nothing to do with you. I want nothing to do with that pee nothing.
I'm not a lesbian, and I wouldn't. Cletus, I'm just tell you right now.
Like, nope, that's not what it means. And let me tell you something. If I could tell a man something, I would say, sweetheart, if I wanted your girlfriend, I'll have her. If she would have been mine, number one. Number two, um, uh,
I 100% endorse that because can I just say real quick? You said your headshots. I was looking at your headshots. One of them, you're all cutesy and girly and like I'm like, oh my god, look at her. And then the next one, I was like, that's that F boy that I'm gonna try to hit at the end of the night at that party. Like, who is that? Why where did this come from? And
right.
when can I get his number? Like, I was like, oh my god,
Correct.
I'm so versatile. Hello.
Correct. Thank you. I do it. I listen. I switch it up on them. You know what I'm saying? Like they never know who they're gonna get. So I'll tell a dude is like, because sometimes they're so corny and they say these stupid things. Like, yo, men sometimes are so basic. Like, first of all, your little peachy peach, that don't mean shit. Like that doesn't really do much for nobody. Like you have girls who, like, I had a girl who told me once, she was like, oh, you know what? I was with her, romantically for the night. And she was like, oh, you know what? Don't worry. It's not you, my thing, my lower region just doesn't work. Like it feels good, but I just don't get there. I don't climax. It's fine. It's fine. I said, all right. 2 minutes. Like that's all it took me 2 minutes. It's because she's with a man because men are so lame. So that's what I would tell men is, yo, you're really not all that. You're cute. Don't get me wrong. I think men are cute and I find them attractive and I think they're really pretty to look at. But that's about it.
And this is
At least in my
why
world. I don't need them.
Know you were a gay. Did you always know that you were a gay, or did you like grow into it? Like, how did that happen?
A gay.
A gay.
Is he a gay?
Is he a gay? Is she a gay? Are those
or did you
men?
You know you were a gay?
There's a lot of moving parts to that. I grew up in a very Cuban, Puerto Rican household, very Catholic household.
Oof.
So, girl,
I know. I heard that.
So there's a lot of moving parts to that. Did I always know I was gay? No. I knew that sometimes I was more infatuated with like certain friends that were girls, and I didn't really understand why. Like, why did I want to hang out with them so badly? Like, I didn't understand why. And as I got older, I'm like, wait, I really, I would take dance class in school, and I'm like, man, I really want to stretch her. Like, I like this connection. I started to like the connection that I was having with females that wasn't having with a man. Like, I was having connections with my boy, the guys that were friends of mine. But it was more like, okay, like I want to hang out with you. I want to talk to you, but I want to move on. But my connections, I was having deeper connections with girls to the point where I didn't want to just stop hanging out with you. I wanted to hang out with you. Then I wanted to call you. Then I wanted to call you after that. And then I wanted to see you first thing in the morning. And I'm starting to say, wait, hold on. Like, I'm starting to like really feel like the vibes that I have with women, like it feels good. Like this feels really good. And then, when I got into college, that was it. Opened my eyes. I went to my first gay club. I got dressed, like I was going to like a straight club because I didn't know no better. And I went in there, I got cute. And I went in there and I was like, wow, this is it. Like, where have you been all my life? Oh, so that's how this is supposed to feel like. So when I dance with someone, it's supposed to feel like this. Like, okay. Like I had my first gay club.
All I'm saying is that I wish I was the woman so I could be your lesbian lover, Miss Amy Cologne.
Well, I mean, you're a little too hairy on the face for that. But
I mean,
you know what I'm saying? I mean, we're all struggling right now. Like,
wow. Now, do you have a love partner in life right now?
No, I don't. I'm single, ready to mingle, ladies. Instagram at Miss Cologne. If you're in the New York, shit, you could be from anywhere you want. I don't care. I'll make a long distance.
I'll make it happen.
Wherever you're from, baby girl, I don't care. No, I'm single.
It's at Miss Cologne.
Instagram at Miss Cologne. Facebook, Amy Cologne.
Slide in that DM.
Slide right in them DMs, girl.
Did we get it right? At Miss Cologne.
At Miss Cologne. Yes, we did.
MISSCOLONE is ready to mingle, not with furry folk like me.
No, I mean, I'm single, ready to probably not say anything because I'm shy as hell and I probably won't say a word and I'll just sit there and stare at you and not say anything. And then when you come talk to me, I won't know what to say and I'll just be like, So yes, that's more like it. It's not really mingle. It's more You know, there's levels.
Awkward silence.
There's more awkward silence. Me just staring at you like.
See, that's why I'm single, because when I flirt with guys, it's just mean. I'm just mean, and I'm like, oh, you can't take it because you a bitch,
Right?
and you ain't worth it. And then
Right.
there it is.
Right.
And
right. Men, they're so simple
indeed.
sometimes.
So simple.
I want to hear about your comedy journey. We have a lot of comedians who are in the industry, and we have a lot of young comedians who want to break into comedy.
Yeah.
How do you do it? What do you like how do you write jokes? How do you get your material? And then let's talk about how to actually get on stage. How do you get your material? How do you get your stuff?
So I get a lot of my material, a lot of my comedy. Like, you know, at first I didn't really know, like I would watch comedians and I would go to comedy shows and see, you know, and it was a lot. There was a lot of similarities, right? And I realized that what made me laugh was when I could relate to it, right? When it was something that I'm like, oh shit, all right, I'm going through that too. Like it wasn't like so much of a personal story, but it was more like something that it was a personal story that I probably went through the same thing that morning. So where do I get my material? I get it from my family. My family is big. We're loud. We're up each other's asses all the time, but we got each other's back and we're all pretty funny. I get it from my students. My students are hilarious. And just my experience as a teacher and what I've been through is unreal. So I get it from that. I get it from everyday life. I talk about my experiences in a way that I want the audience to be able to relate to it. My comedy is more like, just like I talk about my insecurities and like things about me. Like right now I'm in my 30s, my mid 30s. Why am I all of a sudden growing a beard? Like where did this start? Like what is this? So I talk about that. You know, I talk about plucking. I talk about, you know, plucking my hairs and sometimes nicking my lip, you know, and having a little cut in my lip and looking crazy out in these streets. Like I talk about that. Like I talk about being a lesbian, and I talk about how I get mistaked for sir sometimes because I have short hair, but how I'm a female and I have, you know, I like being a woman, and, you know, like I get my nails done. I go get waxed. I get my toes done. Like, you know, I'm very much 100% woman. Like I'm a Latina and I love doing things and I love being very feminine, but I'm also a tomboy. Like, so that's where my comedy comes from. It just comes from my life, like life experience. I just want you to take this ride with me, and I want you to feel a vibe that me and you are homies, and we've been homies since day one. Period.
I love it. So wait, how does it get from the experience of plucking student to then what's the next step, and then comes the stage and the microphone? What's that little step?
So the next step for me was I just found an open mic and I said, I'm just going to do it. And I did it. I didn't even think. I signed up and I got on stage. So I would say the next step is to look for open mics, look for friends who maybe do comedy, make friends in the comedy circle, and just say, yo, give me a chance. Give me 2 minutes, 3 minutes, give me whatever minutes. I don't care. Let me get on stage and do something. Even if I just do one joke.
Do you make notes in your phone? Do you just write shit on your arm?
Yes. So I write it in my phone. And when I first started comedy, I would write it on a piece of paper and I bring the paper on stage and I put it like on a stool, on the bar stool. There's always a stool. There's always a damn stool. So I put it on the stool, or I would put it on the floor, or I would even just put it like if the table was right there. I've been to clubs where the table is literally, it's like microphone table. So I would put it on the table and I would say, listen, I'm sorry, but I'm going to put my paper right here on the table. Don't read my jokes, all right? Because then you'll ruin my show. Like I'll put it right there on their table because I'm able to see it and I can read it. So, you know, most of my jokes I write on my phone because it's so readily available. You know, we live in a technology world where everything is, you can talk to people on freaking the moon on your phone. So I put everything on my phone, on my notes, and I am old school. I'm a very old school person. You know, I believe in that. So I also do write a lot of things, and I have a book. I have different books where I have jokes. I just, you know, if something's funny, I've been at diners where I'm eating at a diner and something happens, I'm like, oh shit, that's funny. So I'll write on the napkin. So I have like 25 napkins that I put in my book. Like I just, wherever I could find it, I write it. And my suggestion to people wanting to get into comedy, I mean, I only been doing it for 2-3 years, so I'm still kind of new to this, but I would say just get on stage and just do it. Just get on stage and just do it. Don't even think about it. Just do it.
Maria, how do you?
That was beautiful. That's how I did it. That's how I started. Honestly.
Right? Like I don't know nobody. I don't have no connections. I just did it myself. Like to get on stage.
I come from the opposite. I'm like, I need to take a class. I need to take a coach or a class or something to show me what's the process. Cause I was like, I ain't just getting up on stage and that to me. So I was like, I saw an ad and I was like, oh, okay. And then I learned joke structure. Like the first thing they taught us was the microphone was when you twist the microphone, you pull it out, tilt your head to the side. Because the first time I did the mic, I pulled it up, I hit myself in the face.
Yeah.
That was the first joke, but that was not the joke. So just simple things of turn your head to the side, pull the mic like this, because if your mic boom, then and like how many times, you know, all little teeny things. And then like, I like taking the class.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what? I mean,
Right.
common sense to just tell you to move out the way.
Right.
I don't have common sense. I have a lot of other
Right.
common sense.
Oh my God. Well, at least you own up to it. You're like,
Right.
I don't have common sense. I need someone to tell me.
And that's where, like, I personally love taking a click. Is like people don't understand. I think because comedy seems so simple, it's not.
It's not.
You are
the timing. Everything has to be perfect.
Beyonce, when she gets on stage, number one, she becomes Sasha Fierce, which is a character that she creates. Mm-hmm. So number one, when you are a comedian, you are a character. You are a Sasha Fierce. You are, you know, just like I am not this painting, even though I put my heart and soul into making it. That canvas is what you leave on stage. That separation between the character and yourself. Yeah. And then comedy is so tough that there's no costume designer, backup dancers, lighting, music, and the words are your own. So it is one of the most difficult art forms there is. Yeah. And it takes a lot of courage to get up there because you ain't got no one to blame but yourself. Nobody. And it's tough. So, I mean, I prefer having someone kind of help me out a little bit before I get up, like learning how to ski or learning how to do any sport, tennis, golf. It kind of helps to have someone show you, or like you said, a friend or a team, because it takes a tribe. It does. Be successful in this world, we need a tribe. You need a team. And the sooner that you build that tribe and you all come up together, because doing it on your own is going to be really tough. Yeah. Really, really, really tough. Tell us a moment. When was the biggest time you ate it on stage? When was the time where you bombed? You just ate a big bag of flaming dookie. Not cute. Yeah. Tell us, when was your time?
I mean, I'm gonna keep it a buck, which means I'm keeping it real. Like I've never had that.
You've never eaten it on stage.
I've never bombed on stage. Like if I see that they're not getting it, then I start. Like before I go on stage, I read the room, right? And I start looking at things that are in the room and I write it down, right? So if I know that they're not vibing with my jokes, I'm going to start talking about the room. Not that I'm going to talk about people individual, because I don't like that. I don't like pointing people out. I think that's corny. I think that's just my opinion. And people like doing it. I don't like doing that. So, but what I do is like, I'll read the vibes of the room, like whatever's on the wall, and I'll relate it to like something that might have happened in my life. Like, I don't know, like I'm not trying to say that I've never bombed. Like I've never had that moment where I'm like, oh my God, let me get off stage immediately. Like I've never had that.
Do you think that teaching has really helped you with that?
That what?
Teaching has really
yes, I think teaching has, because it keeps you on teaching. You can't bomb in teaching. You have to be always be on your toes. I'm 30 steps ahead of my kids. They think they're so slick, like they created it.
That background in teaching and constantly having an audience every day has really prepared you.
And I feel like also living in an urban area, like, you know, living in an urban area is not easy. It makes you grow up real fast because you see and experience things that the average kid should never experience. And I feel that that's why with comedy, I just go for it. Like, that's why I could have taken the classes too, but I just went for it. I said, F it, I'm just going to be me, and I'm going to be me on stage, and I'm going to learn. Like, I did Google it. I Googled first time on stage, and it said the first one, like, get comfortable, get this, get that. So when I went on stage for the first time, I said, yo, I'm going to keep it real. This is my first time on stage, and I Googled it, and I said, it told me to be comfortable, so I wore sweats. It said to do this, and I talked to them, and they loved it because I was telling them what I read and why I'm doing what I'm doing. And like I'm very transparent, and I'm very like honest, like I'm brutally honest, and I keep it real, and I think that's what people like, and that's probably why I haven't bombed, because I keep it real with my kids. I'm honest with them. When I don't know something, I tell them, like, listen, like they'll ask me a question, and a lot of teachers are like, very, oh, I have to know everything. I'm a teacher. Like, no, I don't know. Like, when you ask me, like, yo, I don't know, let's Google it together. Like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, so I think that's why on stage I come across like that. Like, if I see that I'm going left and the show's going left, I'll start. Like,
you can't front with kids. You can't front with the audience.
You
like
can't.
That's 100%.
And that's why I think people bomb, because they front. They're not genuine, not themselves. So then when they break character and they're not being genuine, that's when they start, and the audience feels that, they're like, nah, we ain't vibing with you.
Yeah, because I don't want people to think that this is like something you have to do, or it to get started. I did not take a class till this year. I've been doing I'm gonna be 36 this month. I took the first comedy coaching classing I took was this year. Yeah, and I've been doing and with Iggy, and and it's great. Don't get me wrong. Like, I learned so much, and I absolutely recommend it, but that's not necessary to start out in it. Like, I've been doing it, like years off and on. So I jumped into it when I was 19, some local stuff of all places, in this tiny town called El Centro. It's right by the border of Mexico and California. Like, it's the California side. Excuse me. Oh my God. But it's going right. The next city after that is, like the border, it's Mexicali. So this tiny little town, middle of nowhere, desert city. And I started doing, I did an open mic, and it happened to be, and it was an open mic for everybody. And I just jumped on stage and started talking about my life. Yeah. And, people loved me. It was great. And one of the comedians that was there, he's still a comedian today. He had residency, I think, up until recently, I'm sure, in Vegas. And his name is Edwin San Juan. Mm-hmm. He was like, hey, that was great. That was pretty good. How long you been doing it? And I was like, oh, that was my very first time. Yeah. Mind you, this is like a working comedian, been in the game for a minute already. And he was like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, I've never gone on stage before. This is my first time actually doing like stand-up. And he was like, dang. He was like, you did better than some comedians I've known that have been in the game for a few years. I was like, what? He was like, you're really good. Gave me his card, gave me his number, and like, he was like, if you're ever in LA, hit me up, we can get you some stage time somewhere, do some stuff. For sure. And then that's when it just like went from there, because for me being a comedian, I was always a comedian. I was always doing stand-up in front of friends, in the class. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was always, like, I always had to talk my way into stuff. Right. And I would always talk my way, like, out of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it just came naturally. But, like, once you hit a certain level, then you got to, like, refine it and polish it.
That's where I'm at. And it took me, like, I mean, I haven't been doing it. I respect the fact that you've been doing it for a minute. Like, I haven't. Thank you. But I'm at that point now where I'm like, I really want to learn joke structure, writing it, and having that structure so I can have the same kind of vibe, the same kind of show, like, learning the like, really just that's where I really want to get, like, refine my jokes, like refine all these ideas I have here and put them down where there's a flow. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Absolutely. Sometimes we can talk after the show.
I'll be all over the place.
Because
What do you think, Maria, if Amy comes and joins us at the Misfit Toys?
Oh my God. I would absolutely love for you to join the Misfit Toys. Like, I 100%, like, how can we get you into this? Like, what do we need to do to bring you on? Because absolutely, I'm like the token Latina right now.
Hello, yo! I told you we're best friends. Didn't I tell you that?
I know.
I'm telling you, we were best friends in a different life, girl. I'm telling you.
Oh my
reunited.
God.
I love it. No. We are going to get in touch afterwards. I'm going to give you. We're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen.
Let's do it.
If there was one thing you could ask, this is the first thing I ask all my students. If you could ask the comedy genie and rub the comedy lamp, what wish would you ask for of the comedy genie? Maria, you've asked before. I mean, I'll just throw it out right now. I want to become the Clive Davis of female comedy. I want to find and develop the next Whitney, the next Alicia of comedy, and bring women's voices to the stage. I've been on stage with the top comedians in the world, and I've performed and traveled, and I've shared my story. But watching Maria be able to express herself at 9 laughs a minute and kill the room gives me so much joy. Seeing women be able to tap into this thing and give them this authentic, powerful, like that, to me gives me more joy and more satisfaction and fills my soul more than me getting up on stage.
Yes.
And so for me, that like I pivoted to, I still enjoy getting up and telling my jokes and doing it. It's great. But helping people get up there and really find that authentic voice and being able to kill it, because people don't get it. Standard working comics, that's 7 laughs a minute.
Yes.
At 5 minutes, that's 35 laughs. That's a long time. That's a lot of laughs in a short time. Excuse me. That's hard to do. What would your wish be? What would you ask of the comedy genie if you could? What would your wish be? Like, what would your ideal?
Ideally, I always, and I really do appreciate, I just want to say before I answer, appreciate what you're doing for women in comedy, because it is, a man's world, and, us women got to stick together, because I feel that sometimes women feel that in comedy, they have to be, they have to be that overly sexual, that super, just to get that attention and just to get ahead in life. And girls, you don't have to be like,
and they compete with each other for the wrong reasons.
They compete with each other. Like, be yourself, be genuine. We're all women. We're all humans.
We're supporting each other.
Just support. Like, I love supporting women. Like, I love making women feel pretty about themselves. Like, why don't we do that more?
Because we were conditioned to do otherwise.
We were.
And that's the problem.
Terrible. It's terrible. So thank you for doing that for women in comedy, because I really, if I can rub the comedy genie, I'm going to keep it real. Sorry, men. But if I can rub the comedy genie, I would do a world tour with women, and I would give women who maybe not be, women who are more bigger in comedy, I would give like the underdogs a chance, because I think that it would be great. And I would love to be able to, I would also ask the genie to make it that we can financially sustain ourselves with the comedy, so that I can start giving back to my kids and Elizabeth.
Yes.
Make their dreams come true, because that's the ultimate goal.
Well, yes, we are definitely taking the Misfit Tours on tour, or the Misfit Toys on tour. So as soon as the pandemic is over, we're already doing the shows now. Yeah. And we are taking the girls, the women, the ladies on tour. And the hardest thing about comedy is actually the touring.
Yes.
It's lonely, it's hard, and being a woman, it can be very dangerous. But imagine touring together as a female powerhouse, and that is our goal. So,
a troop.
We coming for you. We coming for you. That being said, are there any shows coming up? So I'm doing a shameless plug. Okay. So I'm doing Dat Fans and Friends. Check it out. Text this number right here to get free tickets. You gotta pop your camera. Don't move. It's a serious show, but I'm rocking a big set this Saturday, so come check it out. And every time I perform, it's just to support my women and get them out there. And that's what I'm about. Anybody else have some shows coming up this weekend? I know, Maria, you have something coming up special.
Actually, I have a show tonight in LA. It's helping the Cal Poly Women's Resource Center. And we're doing a show on Melrose over in like near Fairfax area. And so a lot of comedians might know the place. It used to be Bert's Back Room. Now it's called Vicky's Clubhouse. I think it's like in the same building or whatever. I don't remember. But yeah, and if you want to Venmo Mistress K5, $10 for your ticket. I think there's like 10 seats left maybe at that. And then it's COVID compliant. Everybody's wearing masks. That's why it's limited seating.
Yeah.
And then we're also taking toys like to unwrapped unopened toys for like donating for kids in need. And yeah, it's going to be a great show. There's like a lot of really powerhouse female comedians that are performing. I'm very excited. Yeah, if you want to type in at Mistress K5, that's the Venmo. $10, put your name, and just let them know, I'm just say like your name and for the show tonight. It's $15 at the door, but $10 if you Venmo beforehand. But yeah, it's going to be a great show. I'm super excited. This is probably going to be one of the last live shows I'll be doing for a while because it's cold and flu season,
Yeah.
and
And this COVID's making a comeback.
You know what? Like a big comeback. Like dang.
Yo, this COVID is making a
Man.
comeback. It's like Sally Mae calling for that money. Like, yo,
Yeah.
leave me alone.
Exactly.
Leave me alone. Navion, trying to use different names.
Mm-hmm.
What time is the show tonight?
The show tonight is at 7 p.m.
So tonight, if you're in Los Angeles, off of Melrose, it's called Vicky's Clubhouse. Okay? Everybody, if you in town, boom. Tonight, 7 p.m., Vicky's Clubhouse. $15 at the door. The messages are in the thing. You can also reach out to Maria on her Insta, on her social.
Just Maria Della Ghetto, all one word. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. It's all the same. It's trademarked and everything. No, I mean, yes, it is. Using my name. Shoot.
Right.
Amazing show. We're out of time. I cannot. Congratulations on the show. I'm just super stoked, Amy, to meet you and connect. I know that you're going to. We're gonna be watching this podcast a year from now and be like, remember when we were just like, this is gonna be epic. This is gonna be epic.
I'm telling you, put it out there, manifest it.
Everybody who's watching, Ray and all of our fans from all over the world.
Thank you guys so much. You guys are amazing.
We're gonna make it through. We're gonna make it.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my gosh, it won't close. How do I get out of here?